uh, did it with Pistol Pete. And a lot of you all liked it, your Pistol Pete, and wanted to see him again with him. And I thought it was time to bring on Pistol Pete once again to just release. And let's hear it from Pistol Pete.
Well, tell you, Mr. Dre, it's good to be back on this scene here. And I'm very happy to know that many would like to hear more about me. I'm going to tell you a little something here. God been so good to me. A lot of times, I suffer from all type of mental diseases right now. I suffer from schizophrenia, paranoia, bipolar.
Okay. Start over.
I
All
suffer
right,
from,
slow down.
okay.
We're here to help you.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that God is good. It's good to be here on Just Release and hear you, Miss Andre Rare here. I just want to tell you, God been so good to me because I've been suffering from a lot of living diseases. I've been thinking people, not only people been after me, but you might be some. I don't really know. I'm suffering from paranoia, schizophrenia, bipolar. I'm just really all about it. I've been to the site because of the system can mess with your mind a lot.
Okay, well listen. So what you basically saying is that out of all the years that you was incarcerated, it it played its role on you towards as your mental health.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I'm gonna tell you like this here, Miss Well, Miss Andre. It played on me in such a way that I stayed in SEG for 7 years. That's the same size as your bathroom. I didn't know what to think about. I heard voices. I heard things that was coming inside. People walking. I even heard the little old ant trying to eat my sandwich. And I beat him to it though. Thank
Okay,
God.
you tell me this here. I had ran into a lot of people while being incarcerated, right? And I ran into some cats that felt like they rather do their time in SIG than population. Was you one of them kind of inmates?
Well, not really, because there's one thing and two things for sure. Is that no matter where you at, you're going to still have to face reality. You're going to still have to face the demons. You're going to still have to face the people. And me, myself, I face demons. Demons that are dwelling within me of my own self. And one of the main things I can tell you right this here, by going inside the head, still up to you.
Seg is
Segregation. Segregation.
segregation.
Yes, we just call it SEG. Some of us got other names for it, but
Why,
SEG.
why did you get segregation?
Because my celly, his neck got cut. And I came from the old units. I never really had the opportunity to really just be on new units. But at the time when I got started, we only had 26 shooters.
What year was you locked
I
up?
went in 79, well, 80, 79, a court date. Uh, and
And you were originally sentenced with a life sentence.
yes,
You originally had a life sentence.
yes, I have. My name goes under many, what they say, false. Because 1 minute I was a Pete Edward. Next minute I was Edward Pete. Next minute I was Leon Pete. I got three first names, and I got all kinds of stuff. The reason why I'm blinking my eyes also, I suffer from what they call plimosis in my right eye. I got a disease in my right eye. It's about to go blind. I shouldn't be doing a lot of stuff, but that's the reason why I blink my eyes a lot.
Well, I had did a video talking about people that had life, right? And just so happened, Mr. Pete here had life, and Mr. Pete hasn't been back to prison for a long time. And even though he struggled with his mentally struggle and the illness he had, he's still staying focused or staying free. And that's the main thing when you done a lot of time and you've been in and out of prison. Somewhere's got to stop, and that's what I talk about. Somewhere's got to stop. Here's a man right here had life in prison. He know what it's like to have life. He know what it was like to be in a ride. He know what it was like to stab a person. He knew that he had to survive in a hard penitentiary in them days. So Mr. Pete, tell me this. Do you think some of your mental illness plays a role in some of the violence that you was in?
I do believe so. On my upcoming sessions, a lot of the things God forgive me for the things I've done. I want to say that first, but the things I've done, I don't know exactly what I can really blame it on, but I do blame it on my own self and society right now.
All right. Now, not to cut you off. Now, what you're saying that is that before you went to prison, pre-prison, you were a bad man.
I was
You
a
were
bad,
feared.
I was a bad child.
You was a bad child,
Yes.
and you were well respected because of your badness.
Well, I ain't gonna say real respect. People had fear only because of the simple reason they didn't know exactly what to expect from me.
So you're a bad man.
No, I ain't gonna say I was a bad
You're
man.
changed and reformed now.
Yes, I
But
am.
you're saying the viewers, a lot of these viewers are youngsters, and a lot of them have never been to prison, and a lot of them may be on their way to prison.
Let me say this, not to cut you off. Uh, growing up, growing up, he said he was a bad child, right? So that means that he went through a whole lot of negative things in his life growing up before he became a spiritual man, before he became mind free from the things that was hindering him. All those things was hindering him, and by them hindering him, it placed him in a state of mind to survive. And when you in that state of mind and you in a penitentiary, I ain't say prison, I say penitentiary because that's what it was back in the day. Everything went. Or you was gonna be a punk. Or you was gonna be a punk. Or you gonna be a killer. You gonna hurt somebody. You gonna fight. Or you gonna be a punk. You gonna be somebody else's wife. In them days, cause it was a penitentiary. It ain't called it prison. They didn't call it TDCJ, they called it TDC. And when you drove up on the maximum security units, they had signs in the front of the prison, criminal and insane. You remember that, Pete?
Yeah, I remember too.
And
There was
that's
signs in front of the prison.
letting the people know what they was going to face inside of that prison. Because you had some dangerous men. And it wasn't just so much because that's what they liked it to do, because I knew a guy, he was the most dangerous man in prison. His name was Wilbur Jones. And Wilbur Jones was a killer. Wilbur Jones was so dangerous that his picture of him getting locked up is still on the walls in Diagnostic, right now today. So tell me this here, Mr. P. Being surrounded on a maximum security unit with life, what was your mindset at the beginning of your time?
I was scared. I was scheming God, I was scheming people, society, whoever's doing the listening right here. I just want to let you know that I really was scared. But I'll tell you this much, though. I had faith, I had belief, and I knew one thing for sure. I was taught by the best. Taught by the best means that I was taught by reality. Reality that came from God. Knowing for a fact that I had to be somebody, and I wasn't just going to be no anybody. I had to be me. And I was told from that point that, hey, you be yourself, and nobody, you ain't got to worry about too much of nothing.
So you're saying that if you go to prison,
Don't try to fake it. Don't fake the problem.
don't fake the funk.
Right. Be yourself.
Be
And
yourself.
one of the things that I want to share with you all is that if you really want to make it back in society, stay with your education, stay with life, and stay doing what's right. Because in a lot of gangs, a lot of situations, look here, they all gonna fall back.
So what are you saying to the people that are for sure going to prison, that are watching this?
So the ones who are going to prison right now, at this point, I can tell you this: be yourself. Don't try to fake nothing. Don't try to act like you tough, because it's easy for it to be read. We read body signs. We read everything that comes about. Anybody that steps
You
up
read
above,
body signs. You
Yeah.
read
we
everything.
can read your fear like a dog or a
We
lion.
can read your
You
fear.
can smell it. You can smell fear. You can smell death. And
You know
I
when you
told
speak.
you that when you went to a dangerous penitentiary, it was dangerous. And when you walked into that place, it was so thick with everything of its nature. fear, death. You smelt it. You just it was just there. You knew you was in a serious place. And see, when we went to prison back in them days, they worked us real hard. They worked. It was about a physical thing. They now it's a mentally thing. They play on you. That's why the pill winners lines is this long. And back in the day, the pill winner lines used to be this long. But now they this long, and I'm saying ain't nobody in there but a bunch of kids. A bunch of kids because they feel like they don't let the psych doctors and all these people tell them that you need this. You need this.
And one thing
Mom,
I'd say this here.
Mom.
I'll tell y'all like this here. Going in there, no matter what I keep saying it, be yourself. But another part to this here is that you ever been into a little wooded area, or have you ever been to the zoo? A lot of them animals is kind of scared. Some of them, they want to charge us up with hitting that glass and doing this and that. They don't recognize us just like we don't recognize them. And we coming into a piece of something that I know for a fact that everybody's looking. We all trying to look behind us, trying to look to the side of it. We trying to look everywhere. You can't trust nobody. Going in there, some of the people saying, "Oh man, they but it still got people that's in there. You got people in there that will still harm you. You got people that you'll never know nothing about, and then they'll still kill you. Because I smiled. This was my thing here. I represented this here at one point. I smile at you and still do the same thing of having what I want and doing what I want. But not today. Lord knows if I can find the right person to take this shit off, I cut it off myself. But hey, I'm kind of scared to cut myself. I let God do all the cutting. And he cut a good hole inside of me right now. I don't do nothing and don't want to do nothing.
All right, Pete. You did a part one. This is your part two.
Well, I got a lot to say right now. When part two come up,
This is part two right
okay, when
now.
part three come up, I got something to really share with you all. So please, if you can, anyone who's liking this video at this time that just released with Mr. Andre Webb, please push like on there and come back and hear the rest of what I really have to say. One of the main things I can share with you is about the future and to kind of stay away from that.
All right.
Making things right.
Let me ask you another question. What do you see for the future of Pete?
Well, I see for the future of Pete, I see a bird flying, an eagle, preferable eagle, but I take a blue jay, I take a cardinal. As long as I'm out there being me, as long as I'm not really being free, it's about being me, being myself. Believing and trusting that with everything that my mother taught me, everything my father taught me, with society, with my family, and what I learned from the police, fire department, see, you got working people, you got home people, you got religion people, but you also got yourself. Take all that and bond it up together and try to make something out of it by learning and staying and doing what's right. You got kids out here today, they don't have no people to look up to, people on the righteous way. They all got negativity stuff. We got to do something right. We got to help. Sometimes you may not want to help, but stand up.
So, what's the worst fight you ever seen in prison?
Me getting raped. I was raped. By 3 villages. I was robbery state old. But yeah. And let the society know. I ain't no shame into it. Because that's something that happened.
So you.
But the one thing I will say, tune in next time. And you will hear the next message that comes from my mouth concerning the same issue. So I know how it feels when you get raped. I know how it feels when you get robbed. I know how it feels to have to keep looking over your back of your shoulder. I didn't even know how it feels to use drugs. I know how it feels to use alcohol. I've been to those treatment facilities. I've been to here and there. So if you want to try to really learn something, tune in next time to Just Release. I really will. Please do. Press the red light.
Some of the things that he touched the bases with, I talked to you guys about this same thing because this is what took place in prison when prison was a penitentiary. But I just want to let y'all know that if you like the Pistol Pete and you want to hear him again, y'all hit that like button and y'all share. Y'all go get them, put them comments in. Because I'm going to bring Pistol Pete back. And ain't no telling what Mr. Pete might bring to you. This is Andre Wade with Just Release. And I'll be back. I mean, people were watching. It was live.
3.